Okay, so now let's move to the fourth element. It's about the building information ecosystems. We mentioned many times that data, information, right? We mentioned many times about this one. Data is the new currency. You cannot go through digital transformation if you will not capitalize data, if you will not build on this data. That's why it's very important to create the ecosystem, environment in your organization, but as well environment when you connect with your partners, with your vendors, with companies that you cooperate with. You need to share the information in the secure way, in the safe way. So that's why this is very important to create this environment. And now I would like to invite Professor Ahmad Fadil from CIRIM, who will give us the story how CIRIM, the government organization, started this digital transformation, implement the cloud, public cloud, move data center to public cloud, and then leverage on this one to improve their operations. But again, start to build the environment, how to share data with others. So please welcome Dr. Ahmad.
Thank you, Michal. And a very good morning to you, Doc. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Good morning.
Okay, so we've heard about how government agencies and businesses as a whole in Malaysia need to be on their digital transformation journey. The reason why, because we want to contribute to Malaysia's vision to be a developed nation by 2025. Perhaps you can share with us some of the good work that CIRIM has done so far in your digital transformation journey.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum. First of all, thank you for inviting me to share some of our experiences in putting our data centers on the cloud. Essentially, what happened is that since last year, we started to move all our data centers into the cloud, meaning everything is operated from the cloud. But before that, I am not sure everybody is aware of what CIRIM does, right? Many of you know CIRIM does standards development, of course, but among other things, that's actually becoming a very small part. We actually, one of the biggest part is testing, inspection, and certification. And many of our customers are businesses, industry. Unlike our first two panelists, Dr. Azman and Mr. Puat, you deal with customers. We deal with business entities, and they are our main customers. Besides that, we also do development work for the country, industrial research. In fact, we'll be one of the main enablers for the Industry Forward policies that has been launched by the Prime Minister in last October. It's under the purview of the MITI, Ministry of International Trade and Industry. So we'll be dealing with Industry 4.0. One of the reasons, there are many reasons we have to do what we do. We were talking about digital transformation. So let me just put one of the slides. Right. There's a need to upskill businesses, right? I think many of you will be agreeing to me, right? There's a need to upskill businesses, but how do we do it? There is an important thing that we have to, we have to sell to more people, right? When I took over this position as president, we had about 9,000 customers. Take 2 years later, we are around 15,000 customers. And we're dealing with more customers and more complaints, right? We have to sell to more, we have to sell for more, and we have to talk about bundling a lot of our services from our testing, inspection, certification to training auditors for your, say, your ISO 9000 management systems. You have to train your own people to maintain that certification. So we have training consultancy. We have to also solve business problems. We give solutions, industrial solutions. So we try to put that together, sell for more, but at a less operating cost in order not to charge people higher and higher all the time, right? This is the world nowadays, right? You're putting more value at a lower course, or I think Dr. Azman understands it, right? You don't want to raise toll unnecessarily, but you want to put value, right, so that people would accept that service, right? There's also the market outreach. SIRIMs operate in all states. We are going also regional because we have technology innovations that we want to market it out. Mind you, although Dashika said that we are a government agency, right? We were a government department in 1975. So it's a government agency, but a government department. But as of 1996, we became corporatized. We became SIRIM Berhad. It means, basically, we are on our own. Obviously, the first 10 years after corporatization, the government did assist us. But with the new government, we expect to, as a government-linked company, we are expected to sustain ourselves. Meaning we pay for our own. We do give, we are still owned 100% by Ministry of Finance. So if we make money, we give dividends back to the government. But we do what we do, the governmental role for the government development. There are policies to be implemented. So we charge the government for the implementation. Customer engagement is also key. We need to engage in customers. So how do we do it? Nowadays, we need to have customers communicating to us, not through phones, but through mobile apps. Anytime, anywhere kind of thing, right? So customer engagement is key. I don't have screen flash, so it's the screen there.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So the second reason why we need to do what we do, what we did, is preparation for disruption. As a CEO of any company, I'm sure many of you are leading your companies. You know disruption is not an if, it is when. It has hit, I think, Astro, for instance, due to the Android boxes. Arguably, it is an illegal piece of equipment which SIRIM approved for import. So don't blame us. The content that is being streamed, that is illegal, and that is under the purview of the Consumer Ministry. So when the MCMC mentioned that we have to ask SIRIM, we said no, we just implement what is being asked of us, making sure it is an electronic equipment, there is function, there's no problem with it, and things like that. So there's a great disruption that I'm sure Astro is really looking at it. But for us, what is our disruption? We really do not know, but what we're clear of is that when the government say that everything will be open tender, meaning that we do not hold a monopolistic role anymore in many things. In certain policy, we have monopolistic role, like steel imports that we have to check samples, but who knows? It could be open to anybody to do it. And the competition is waiting, just waiting for the door to be open. So that disruption, so we really need to prepare for disruption. And one of the things that we prepare for disruption is to ensure that our operations is of high value at a cost that is affordable. We cannot continue to raise fees. A lot of people complain to me about your certification costs a lot. Yes, it's slightly more than the market benchmark, because the market benchmark against us, when we put a price, they will put lower a bit. We realize this, but we guarantee you, when you have certification, the quality that you will in your services will be ensured because of the stringent requirements in order to get certification. So we talk about collaborative work. I think many people talk about work from anywhere mobility. But it is not work from anywhere anymore, it's collaborative work. A good example was Cyberdynamic just now. And that is what we're trying to move by having our data centers into the cloud. Nowadays, like Microsoft, we communicate through not iPads, not PCs, but handphones. Most of our auditors have virtual office, which means they never come to office. Virtual means in their mind. So auditors, I don't even know some of them. In fact, I don't know most of them. So you can see, and when you have people spread around the region. You cannot expect them to fly in. So I believe Office 365 was mentioned. I think we were one of the first to use the beta version last year, 2018. And the beta version was tested on our own board. But the board love it because they don't have to carry these thick files for their meetings, which is happen to be sharp at the edges, right? Because the paper, and they get cuts, small cuts, and a lot of senior people are having blood thinners and things like that, so it's very dangerous, right? Mind you, but that was not the main reason. That was about getting things ready at the right time and reducing costs. It's a very simple example, but when I talk to my staff, said, thank you very much. Why? This is a driver saying thank you to me. I don't have to send the board papers to the board members, right? I didn't realize this. It was such a hassle. And the company secretary was working day and night to prepare the files. And now they don't have to. I mean, to put in proper arrangement. And you can know board members get very fussy when they're not in proper sequence, right? So collaborative work, business model innovation, you need to, and it's been mentioned, right? By Subodhami, you have to innovate your business model. So you prepare for innovation when everything is digital. Security, this is something that most organizations worry, cybersecurity. We had a lot of problems when I first came into Cirium. Every month there was a case of penetration and emails get down. I don't think now. Now it's always up because I will be calling Microsoft if any problem in cybersecurity. So it's a peace of mind on digital security. And obviously for disruption, you must be an early adopter of disruptive technologies, mainly platforms. I mean, cloud is a platform. So when you go digital, you have a digital company, but really you have a company with many platforms of services, right? So I think that's the reason why we moved.
That was very good. Yeah, so that was a very good understanding and giving us a perspective of why Cirium actually took on this digital transformation journey and how it's very imperative to your business, to your customers, as well as internally as well. So let's just shift our gears a little here and move on to about building an information ecosystem. And basically, information system is important to harness our data estate. And Cirium has recently moved your entire data center to the cloud. Perhaps, Prof, you can share with us some of the benefits in terms of results that you have seen in terms of, say, cost efficiency, promoting innovation, agility, and just convenience in engaging internally as well as externally.
That's a great question. I think most of us are wondering how we move things, right? Cirium is 40 over years old. There's a lot of legacy. So I just showed you the legacy from the 90s. I didn't bother to show you the legacies from the 80s, right? But to show it is a journey. And that journey is a continuous journey. The transformation is about a year to 2 years ago. But just to give you a highlight that we have been moving on 3 areas. If you care to look at the screen up there, at the bottom on the left side is internal process. There's a lot of internal processes that you need to digitalize before even you can deal with the customers. So that was, many of these things on the slide, file servers, and as we proceed in the years, we have knowledge workspace for our own staff to be able to collaborate, to share data. And I recall previous speaker, Dr. Akhil, mentioned about having the knowledge of the old man being retained, and that's put in knowledge workspace. You can always look at it. And now, on the internal process driven, we are moving to business support applications on apps. So we're still at it. We are doing like 20 over business processes per year to be digitalized. I don't know how many more we need to digitize. I thought that we should get rid of all the processes and start to build from ground up, right? But it's not as simple as that because we have legacy of certain processes, right? A lot of people say, throw everything out, start from scratch, right? But I believe that there are some good things that we should continue with in terms of processes. We just need to digitalize it. But the next thing that we started to move as we move into the last, in 2000 years, in the year 2000, we started to look at marketing customer driven. We started to look at the customer. And this is very important, I mean, mentioned by our previous speakers about customer experience. We are really having a strategic trust on customer experience. 2 years ago, we had a 10-year plan. And one of the strategic trust is customer experience, or having one-stop center and things like that. Customer experiences talk a lot about. And how do you do that? You need your CRM, you need your corporate website, you need to look at your digital profile of your products and services. This is what we did. And now, I'm proud to say, right, that our cloud is totally, our corporate server is totally on cloud. I was testing it. Wonderful. We have new corporate server, which is very mobile friendly. And we can upload, various business units can always upload onto the cloud using our SharePoint. So cloud-based corporate website, though seems to be a routine thing. But remember, you want it to be accessible to the young ones who are always on the move. And it has to be mobile friendly. We are now using e-marketing. Our customers, we tend not to give flyers unless they ask for it. We tend to say, you just get this QR code and it's downloaded automatically to you as you move away with the phone. And the last thing that we are doing now, which is the real transformation that we're going through, is the business transformation and preparing for the disruption. And that is several strategic trusts in our 10-year plan. One-stop service center, enterprise risk management with the balanced scorecard is a challenge. How do you know the risk of your performance or attaining a performance? We set performance targets, but what's the risk of not reaching the targets? How do we mitigate it? And that is one thing that, to me, will change the way our own culture of performance. Partner relationship management system. These are all in work progress that we can do now because we have moved to the cloud.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. So I get from what you've said so far is the fact that now everything is consolidated, it helps with getting real-time information, collaboration, and better serving your customers as well. With that, I thank you so much, Prof, for being here with us today.
It's a pleasure.
I look forward to hosting you again. Thank you so much again.